Hey y'all, Austin here. Welcome back to the Outer World Media channel, guys. I know we have a little bit of a different scenery now. We kind of had to update the home office here. My wife is going to start school or college again back in the fall, so we had to get a bigger desk since I'm doing this, and she's got to do some schoolwork. So we went out this weekend and bought a bigger desk, so she's got her work area right over here. I got mine so we can keep trucking along and doing this. So our spare room is looking a little different now, but you know what? Hey, that's what happens when you got to change the home office, if you will. Let's get into this though. I hope y'all had a great week and whatnot. I know I got to talk to a few of y'all this week. Over the last 4 or 5 days through YouTube and whatnot. But if I didn't get to talk to you, hope y'all had a good week and whatnot. Hope y'all got some reading done. But let's get into it, guys. I did read some this week. I did finish some books. I did meet my goal that I was wanting to. So I start off with I did finish Kylo by Louis L'Amour. I do have a review up on the channel of this. Quite enjoyed this book. Not as much as some other books of his, but I did quite enjoy this book, which is no surprise. I mean, I feel like every time I read a Louis L'Amour and I review it on here, I'm going to say the same thing. But again, guys, Kylo by Louis L'Amour. I'm glad I picked this up. Glad that Hyde and Reed said that, this was the first Louis L'Amour book that he read, because I'm glad I picked this up and read it. I flew through it in one day. So I'm going to come back to this, guys. There's a reason why, but I'm going to come back to this. So I'm going to set this over here. The next book I picked up was No Traveler Returns by Louis L'Amour. I did read and finish this as well. I enjoyed this one as well. Quite enjoyed this one. Talking to Dustin Neely down in the comments when I posted my review, and Dustin did some digging for me and found out that I guess this was some notes, or Louis L'Amour hadn't finished this, so Beau L'Amour, his son, went in and finished this. And if you watch my review, I talk about how this is a little bit of a darker tone and some darker content for Louis L'Amour, and it kind of caught me by surprise. And again, Dustin, being the snoop that he is, went out and figured this out, that, hey, Beau L'Amour finished this or probably wrote most of it. And I'm glad that Dustin did that, because that kind of cleared that up for me, because I was wondering, the last couple days after I've read this, man, why hasn't he written anything else like that? And so thank you, Dustin, for doing that research and, clearing that up for me. Again, I've just been just kind of kicking myself in the butt, wondering why I haven't found any other books that were quite like this by him. And now I know. So again, Dustin, thank you. I do appreciate y'all doing the research for me and saving me the time so I don't have to. But again, guys, No Traveler Returns by Louis L'Amour, even though it's probably mostly written by Beau L'Amour, I don't know why I said Boo, Beau L'Amour, I still recommend picking this up. It's a good book, guys. I really enjoyed this one. Again, got some darker content, darker tone to it. But again, quite enjoyed this book. Happy to have this in my collection. I'm glad I haven't lost this one yet. I've moved quite a few times since I bought this, and I've just kept on to it, kept it for whatever reason, and I'm glad that I did. Next, I just posted the review, I did start The Last Colony by John Scalzi. I finished it last night. This series has had, over the last few months, I feel like I've had kind of a bit of a rocky relationship with this series or this trilogy, and I'll go more in depth when I do a trilogy, review over this. But this book didn't quite stick the landing like I was hoping. It did. I enjoyed it still. I read like over 100 pages in the first sitting with this book. But again, it didn't stick the landing that I was hoping, but it's still a good book, and I'm glad that I picked up this trilogy. I'm actually kind of thinking about picking up the next 3 books in the trilogy. I guess I don't know if it's a follow-up trilogy or what. I know that it's like books 1 through 6, so I don't know how that works. If somebody's read this series before, if you can let me know if that's like a follow-up trilogy or what. But again, guys, The Last Colony by John Scalzi. Should you pick this series up? I would say yes. And again, I'll have more in-depth review when I do that series review, like I said before. But again, guys, The Last Colony by John Scalzi. Really happy that I read this. And again, the pacing, if you go watch my review, I talk about the pacing and whatnot on this. I'm not one to normally read a series like this, but I was happy that I did. Makes me feel like I need to try more science fiction books. I see Dustin all the time on his channel talking about Star Trek and whatnot. I never really dig into Star Trek, but I may need to pick up a couple of his books. I've heard him reference the series and whatnot, so maybe if y'all have any science fiction books you could recommend to me, let me know. I did pick up Starship Troopers by Robert Heinlein, whatever you want to say. I picked that up. If you've read this series or that book, let me know if it's kind of in the same vein as this. But again, guys, really happy that I picked up this series and I finished the first trilogy at least. So that kind of leads us into what am I going to read. So we'll get started here. I did pick up and I have started about 20-something pages and about 15% into The Tall Stranger by Louis L'Amour. As y'all know, I have 10 books that I want to try to read this month and whatnot. So I did pick this up. Started last night, like 11:30 last night. Read about 20-some pages into it. Couldn't keep my eyes open, so I ended up having to stop reading it. I don't think this will take me too long. It's a little over 100 pages. I probably might finish it tonight. For all I know, or first thing tomorrow morning when I'm sitting in the parking lot at work waiting to go in. So happy to get back into more Louis L'Amour and try to knock these out not as quickly as I can, but I've, like I said before, I have over 100 of his books, and I need to try and read more of his books and try to knock them out and whatnot and put a dent in that collection as far as what I've read. Next, I am going to pick up another Louis L'Amour book, and that is High Lonesome. I don't really know. I think this one, The Tall Stranger, is about a guy who comes across from what I've read the back, it's about a guy who comes across a wagon train or something and has to save him. I don't know a whole lot. High Lonesome, from what I could tell from reading the back of this, you have a guy who was robbing a bank or something, and he saw a woman a day or two before, and he can't get her out of his mind, and so he tries to go find her or something, I guess. Sounds like a little bit of a love story, but you know what? That's to kind of be expected with Louis L'Amour, that there's going to be that in there. But you know what? I'm along for the ride, And I will say, a lot of the people that have commented on these videos, even ones that I'm not talking about Louis L'Amour, have made the comment that they've kind of picked up the Louis L'Amour books and whatnot, are enjoying them. I know that, Kevin Toll, and I know I got the last name right now, Kevin. I know Kevin has picked up a couple of Louis L'Amour books, and Kevin has enjoyed them. So that makes me happy that I'm not the only one that are reading these books nowadays. I mean, these books are probably 50, 60 years old at this point, if I had to guess. When did High Lonesome come out? This come out 62. So yeah, so these are, for being 40-something, 40, 60 years old, these definitely hold up. So I'm glad that other people are picking these up and enjoying them. I know Hyde and Reed is enjoying reading some of his books as well. I know that Faceless Book Reviews, I'm just going to call him Faceless now on the channel. I know Faceless is looking to try to pick up, quite a few of his books if possible. So if anybody out there has any, hit Faceless up and let him know. He's wanting to get a collection started. Next, guys, I am going to pick up the next book in the Longmire trilogy, and that is An Obvious Fact. I don't know what this one's about. At this point, I didn't even read the back of them, guys. I just know that Walt's in this. It's going to have Walt, Vic, and Henry standing there, and that is all I need. I am looking forward to getting into this series again and just continuing with it. I mean, I have 3 of these books up on par this month to try to get through, so I'm looking forward to that. Can never get enough of Absaroka County and whatnot, and just the people there in the surrounding area. So very, very much looking forward to getting into that and whatnot. And so that kind of leads, like I told y'all at the beginning of the video, I did read Kylo and I finished it. I picked it up on Sunday and I finished it on Sunday. So it was the last day of June. So some people could say I could count that towards my 10 books for the month. Some people say, nah, we'll probably say no, you can't. I'm on the fence about that. So what I'm going to do, because about this time in July, because if you can't tell from, the stuff that I have in my room here, my little home office, Halloween is my favorite month, or my favorite holiday. October is my favorite month of the year. I love Christmas. I love 4th of July. Love Thanksgiving. I love all the holidays. Maybe not Arbor Day. I'm joking. Somebody's going to take me serious. But, Halloween is my favorite, season time of the year. I mean, it's my favorite holiday. So about this time after July, I get the itch, to pick up, to start watching scary movies and whatnot, because I know Halloween's around the corner. I mean, my wife went with I can't even speak. I went with my wife to Home Goods this weekend, and they had Halloween stuff starting to, be put out, whatnot. Was talking to my wife to try to decorate for Halloween already. I don't like decorating for holidays, but Halloween I love getting the house set up and whatnot with Halloween decoration. My wife told me no, I have to at least wait till August. So that being said, I just get this itch, to watch and read, scary stuff. So in that vein, I have this collection here of books, and knowing that I finished Kylo in the end of June, the last day of June, I will probably count it towards July. But you know what? I feel like I'd be cheating y'all because I told y'all I was going to read 10 books in July. So I have this collection here that I've had for a few years, and I've read 2 out of the 3 books in it. This has Frankenstein, Dracula, and Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I read Frankenstein in high school. I was talking to Dustin, I think, in the comments on a video not too long ago, and he was saying Frankenstein. I need to read Frankenstein, and I remember reading it in high school, and I thought it was okay. I liked to read back then, but I didn't read as much as I do now, and eventually I will pick that back up. Dracula, I've loved that book since I was a kid. 5th grade, 4th grade, whatever. I remember reading it and enjoying it. I really love the movie Bram Stoker's Dracula. But that being said, I've never read Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. And looking at it, because I couldn't figure out what to read, it looks like it's like 60-something pages. I mean, maybe 70-something pages. So I'm going to count this. I'm probably going to pick this up this week and just kind of blow through that and read it. It's a classic horror book that I haven't read yet. And hopefully that'll kind of scratch that itch that I have and hold me over at least until I get to October and whatnot to try and read some horror stuff for that month. But again, guys, that is just kind of what I'm going to read this week coming up as far as that goes. Like I said, we got 4 books on par. Feel pretty confident. Hopefully get through at least 2 of them is what I'm hoping at least. But again, just kind of going to go over, what's coming up on the channel this week. I'm going to try and get a series review or trilogy review out for The Old Man's War. Just kind of let y'all know what I think of the series overall, in hindsight, reading that series and whatnot. But again, guys, if I can get through all those this week, which I'd be amazed if I do, I have 4 books left for the month to try to get through. But again, guys, that's why I always try to have more than not enough to read, so that way I always have some left over to roll over for the next month. But anyways, guys, that is it for this weekly update. Drop down in the comments. Let me know, what are y'all reading for the month of July? I've seen a couple people's TBR videos and really enjoy seeing those and whatnot. Hope y'all are, like I said, reading quite a bit, and hope y'all had a safe 4th of July. But as always, guys, I do appreciate every single one of y'all that stop by, to watch these videos and whatnot. The subscriber count is going up. I've said it before, that doesn't really matter as long as people are enjoying the videos, but it does make the channel feel a little bit better. At least makes me feel a little bit better knowing that, we got some people out there that are subscribed to watch my videos. But again, guys, that is all I have for the week. Y'all have a good one.